Okay, so I have a cutter here, and I want to take this off I have a cutter and a Hydra, and I just want to take this as an opportunity to basically just do a full walkthrough of what a cutter fight should look like. So I'll describe some of the strategy behind it, the sort of technique that you use. I'll talk about the build itself, and just kind of walk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So right now I have the scan on the Hydra, and I can either just back up, reverse, and then hit it with a laser to aggro it, then kill the swarm. What I'm going to do, just for some variation and just to speed it up, I'm going to go ahead and take out the first heart right now, and then we'll talk a little bit more about strategy in the build after the first heart's down. Alright, the Hydra is managing to keep up well enough, so I'm just going to do a bit of a turn. Just we're going to get some distance on. Alright, now we're safe. So I took some phasing damage during that first heart, so I'm just going to use some repair limpets to heal my hull back up. And while we're waiting for the shield to drop, I'll take out the first and then second swarm. So here I'm just using a standard reverse key. Now keep in mind for this video, this is kind of assuming that you generally understand how to fight a Thargoid. So if you can kill a Cyclops or a Basilisk, this guide should be helpful for you. Dang it. Alright, so it caught up to me, so I just wanted to boost past it. And see, now I have a ton of distance on the Hydra. So released that next swarm. So I'm just going to take that out. By then, the shield on the Hydra should be getting relatively low. Okay, cool. So both swarms are down. We're still just waiting for the shield to drop. We'll have some time to kill. So let's talk about the build. The whole idea about the cutter is that it's a shield tank, right? So without a shield, a cutter is really weak. So it's all about just shield stacking. So to that point, obviously running a Prismo, This is high cap reinforced. I run 2 shield cell banks. One of them is powered, the other one's secondary. That's just a matter of power usage. 4 gauze, running primo. This is a long-range thermal vent beam. This is basically just used as a utility weapon to stay cold during reboots. You'll see that in use later. Bunch of heavy-duty shield boosters. Get another repair one, FM is disabled. 2 flax on the outside. Burn shift drive is disabled. Power distributor. This is a weapon-focused super conduit. This cargo hatch can be disabled. And that's about it. So I'm running 2 heat sinks. This is enough for a Hydra. A 5A repair limpet. Repair limpets are optional. You can just use more hull reinforcements if you'd like. It's just a choice. This allows me to repair throughout the fight. But, you know, otherwise I would just have more hull to begin with. Alright, I just wanted a couple more heat sinks. So the shield is just about gone on the Hydra. So I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to do in this attack run as well as I can. I'll just show you it for this next part, and then I'll try to walk it through a little bit more step by step during the subsequent ones. So let's get this started. Well, damn, I made a mistake on that one. So we're just going to back out of it. And I'll just walk you through the, I'll walk you through what happened on that. Just in a second. So the attack run itself went pretty well on that. I just messed up the reboot. Messed up that reboot too. Okay, let's do that again. Alright, now we're good. So shields are back up. got plenty of distance to the Hydra. Right now, the Hydra is going to be in front of the swarm, right? So we're basically just going to turn the Hydra to get better positioned. So let's do that. Alright, cool. So the swarm's dead. We got another couple minutes before the shield drops, so let's talk about what happened during that attack run. So basically the idea with a cutter attack run is, like I said, you're shield tanking. So you're not trying to avoid any damage, you're just trying to take all the damage that the Hydra's giving and basically just outpower it, right? Just overpower it. So the idea behind it is to slow down and get within like an optimal gauze range, and then match its speed, and basically match its speed as you reverse away from it. So what you saw was me flying in this direction and then slowing down, allowing the Hydra to approach me and start actually hitting me. And then once it got within like 1.6 kilometers away, I just boosted forward and then flipped around and started shooting it, and then basically used just like forward, a little bit of forward thrust just to match its speed, so I stayed within range of it. And the whole idea there is we're just trying to maximize the damage of the gauze cannons, and make the Hydra keep coming towards me in a straight line, because I don't want to have to turn. Once I kind of match its speed, it'll eventually turn away and like do a rearm. I'll just slow down a little bit more, and let it come back to me and just keep hitting it. But the idea is you don't want it to fly past you, so that you're not having to really turn a whole lot after that initial like boost flip. Right, so just get in range of it, boost forward to match its speed, turn around, and then just basically hit every shot. And if you do that properly, your shields will stay up, and you'll take the heart down before your shields drop. So let's do that one more. Let's do that on this heart. If I do get caught in its lightning, you'll see how that works out. So, and then after this heart, we'll talk about like reboot procedures. So I'm going to come to a stop, or slow down as much as I can. Put full pips into shields, just to maximize shield strength. And then when it comes within like 1.5, 1.6 kilometers away, I'm just going to boost forward and turn. See, now I'm just matching its speed. And just, using heat sinks just so I don't overheat. But I don't want it to catch me. I just want to keep going in a, basically a reverse ski. And see, I'm caught in the lightning, so it's starting my shields, but that's okay. So now it's going to position a kilometer away from me. I'm cold from a heat sink. I'm going to use a heat sink when I come back. And then use a laser just to stay cold. And now I'm just using the beam to stay cold, and I'm going to boost once the swarm is released. Ram it, and then keep boosting away. Alright, cool. So now the shields are down on the Hydra. My shields are at 50%. We're going to reverse ski and kill the swarm. And then we'll be ready for another attack run. Cool, so swarm's dead. My shields are up. I'm gonna just repair my hull just because I have some time to burn. But yeah, so that attack run went pretty well. I got within the Hydra caught up to me and got within 750 meters. That's why I got lightning. But as long as the heart is exerted, it's okay to get lightninged because it basically just pulls you straight towards the heart, and as long as you keep hitting your shots, your shield will go down, but you'll get the heart taken out before you take too much actual damage. So right now, I have enough gauze for one more attack. Let me go ahead and rearm my flak, just because I may as well. I'm going to need to after this anyways. My heat sinks, I have plenty of heat sinks. My hull looks good. Let's go ahead and check my modules, just because I did overheat some. That MRP is a little low. Yeah, I'm okay. So let's go ahead and do another attack run. So yet again, I'm going to just kill my speed, have full pips and systems. I'm going to boost at like 1.6 kilometers away, and then switch my pips to 2 in system and 4 in weapons, just so I can power my gauze. I'll go from there. See how this goes. So it's rearming right now. Right, see, so it went away a little bit. That's fine, it's gonna come right back. See? I may get caught in the lightning here, that's okay. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so right then, I used heat sinks after taking out the heart to make sure that I'm staying cold. Then I started the reboot, and then once I knew where the Hydra was relative to me, I went ahead and went FA on to kill my speed. Then I performed the reboot, used the laser to stay cold once I came back online, and then waited for the swarm to release, and then ran the Hydra. So that was a really good attack run. That's basically exactly how I would like every attack run to go. So let's kill the swarm. Alright, cool. So Swarmer's down. We got some time to burn. So let's talk about the reboots. Right. So there are two aspects to a cold reboot that need to be correct in order for it to work. So you saw me mess up the first one. It's definitely not the first cold reboot that I've messed up. So what a cold reboot needs is you need to be more than 750 meters away from the Hydra, and you need to be below like 15% heat. So as long as you're doing both of those things, then your reboot will be successful. Basically, after you take out the heart, the Hydra looks for a target, and it looks for the target either by what's really close to it within 750 meters, or it looks for heat signature. So that heat signature, if you're within 3 kilometers and you're over like 10 or 15% heat, it'll find you. So in that first scenario, the Hydra came within 750 meters of me, so that's why it launched its caustic missiles at me. But yeah, so let's describe like what a reboot requires. So you take out the heart, pop a heat sink just to make sure that you're cold. Ideally, make sure that you're outside of 750 meters away from it. Point your ship towards the Hydra, or at least in the general direction, so that you'll be ready to ram it once you come back online. Initiate the reboot, do the reboot, and then either hit the Hydra with your laser or use another heat sink in order to stay cold. Wait for the swarm to release, and then ram it. That's about it. So I'm just going to get more heat sinks, and while I'm waiting for those, I'll go ahead and repair that module reinforcement from earlier. And actually, I'm going to go AFK for 1 minute. Okay, so the MRP is repaired. Everything looks good. So let's go ahead and get ready for another attack run. So my aim is pretty good. Like I have pretty good technique, so my shield tends to stay up pretty well. But especially when you're trying to get your first Hydra kill or Medusa kill, go ahead and use a shield cell bank at this time to, especially on like the early hearts, in order to get your shields up high. You know, just top them off, like I would use one right now, for example. But I'm happy with where my shields are, so I'll save those for later. So let's get going. So that heart was pretty repetitive, you know, similar to the previous one. Swarm's released, so let's ram it. Clear 3 kilometers. Alright, we're good. Take out the swarm. And so now I think we're down to like, what, 3 or more hearts. This is when the fight should be pretty routine, right? So exerting the heart's pretty easy at this point. It's kind of like you're fighting a Medusa. Yeah, so if you've gotten to this point against a Hydra, then you're probably gonna win. You're gonna have to mess up pretty bad in order to lose it. But let's just repair a little bit, rearm, and we'll be good for the next attack. Now I'm gonna switch to standard gauze, just because I'm comfortable with that, and I want to save some materials. But I would encourage running premium if you're new to this. I'm getting stutters. That was weird. Alright, so things are looking pretty good. Just so I don't get too cocky, I'm going to go ahead and use a shield cell, just because kind of why not. Alright, so my shields are looking great. My hull looks good. I have plenty of ammo. I'll go ahead and get a little bit more flak right now. But then, yet again, it's just a repeat of last time. So slowing down, full pips and systems, let it catch up, match its speed, and take out the heart. So I want to be patient and let it come back to me. I don't want to slow down too much. Alright, so I don't want to reboot now until I know I'm out of its range. Okay, there we go. I'm using the heatsink just to be sure. Alright, cool. See, so I still took a fair amount of time before initiating the reboot. You know, making sure that I had the right distance. But I'm still going to have plenty of time to complete the reboot. So, you know, there's no need to rush it. Alright, swarm's out, ram it. Alright, now rinse and repeat. Alright, so everything's rearmed. I'll use another shield cell just because there's only 2 hearts left and I got plenty, so no reason to keep saving them. And we should be good for another attack. So just double check my ammo. I'm good there. Yeah, we should be good to go. So full pips and systems and hit the brakes. Alright, last heart. Oh yeah, so one thing that or one question that I hear, sorry, just gonna get my repairs going, is why do we do this whole like slow down and then turn around thing? Why don't we just stay in a reverse ski like this, and just let it come towards the ship? The reason why we don't do that is during that first part of your attack run, if you just wait and do this like a normal ship would, is you're going to take a lot of damage while the you're going to take a lot of damage when you're like 3 kilometers away from the Hydra, or like 2.9 kilometers away. And you're not going to be able to do any damage to it while it's doing full damage towards you. Then what's going to happen is, see how I'm going 470 whatever kilometers a second, or meters per second. When I'm just reversing like this, I'm going to settle down like below 400, right? Like well below 400. And what that means is that the Hydra is going to be able to approach me a lot faster. And so it's going to catch me, which I don't want to happen. I want to be going at the same speed as it, which is like 420, 400, something like that. Not, 350. Right? It's going to catch me too quickly if I just... and then I'll get caught in the lightning, and then it'll start my shields before the heart's exerted, and it's just bad news. And so basically it's better to tank those shots for, 10 seconds or whatever, and be perfectly aligned, than to just reverse ski and drift back into the attack run. Alright, so see how fast I get going? And how it's not catching me anymore? And I'm able to regulate my speed exactly where I want. Now once I take this heart out, I'm just going to keep shooting it. Gonna shoot a couple more times and stay cold. Now, in that situation, it was still coming towards me, and I didn't know exactly where it was gonna go, so I didn't want to start the reboot yet. I could have done one right now, but it would have been risky to do that reboot because it was still approaching me. And the worst thing that could happen is the worst thing that could have happened would be for it to launch caustics at me while I'm in the middle of a reboot. Then I'm dead. I'm gonna need more flak. Now, one thing I could have done and that I ordinarily would do, is on that last heart, after I take out that last heart, once the swarm is released, I would just keep hitting it with, I would ram it, and then just hit it with gauze, and just tank the damage until I kill the Hydra. I have plenty of shield, plenty of health, that would have worked out fine. But here, if this is your first Hydra, I don't want you to take that risk, so let's just do it the slow way. So I'm just using some banks because I didn't do the reboot. If this weren't the last heart, I could fly out to like 10 kilometers away, just keep boosting away from it and do a reboot. Once the swarm is dead and you're like 10 kilometers away from the Hydra, you have enough time to just slow down and do what I call a hot reboot, and get the shields back to 50% before doing the next attack run. I'm just going to go ahead and use some of my banks, because why not? No reason not to. Shields are at 62%. That should be plenty. So, just double check the ammo. Yep, got plenty. Alright, let's kill this thing. And there he goes. Alright, so thanks for watching. I hope that this answers some of the questions behind like the theory of how the fight's done, some of the more technical aspects of how to do certain things, and just the general framework that a cutter fight should use. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll keep an eye on those and be happy to respond. So thanks.